Hello, everybody, and welcome. All right, so we have got you two today. Alrighty, so I'm gonna skip forward a bit. You travel through the whole 9 yards of going through the uncharted land to your next destination, which is the city of Frey Valley. As you begin on the main road and go towards the town, you reach the edges of the town, which is completely farmland. As you walk more towards the town, you are meted by stables to your left and houses and all that to your right, going into the city itself.
This city is in which country?
This is in the Kingdom of Ulv.
So we made it across the border.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I was skipping time.
And so this is futuristic.
No. This town is more like every other town. This town is more on the outskirts of the country as a whole. So they don't have sort of the luxuries that like bigger cities have within the country.
Okay.
I will say they're getting there, but it's a slow process.
So what do we know of the person we're trying to track?
So, you know that he is a member of one of the five that are able to lend power to. Trying to remember his name.
Demon guy.
Yeah, Lord something. I forget the name of him, and I don't have it written down. Lord something. Let me just...
What Batman?
Tools, encounters. My encounters. Let me look, because I know I named... Lord Petdan. He is one of the five that are able to lend his power completely over, granting Lord Petdan immortality, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. Other than that, you don't really know much. You know that he was last seen in this city. But everything else is kind of up to you.
Do we have a physical description?
No, you do not.
So is he in hiding, or is he just... He's not in hiding, is he? He's just in this area.
Mm-hmm.
We have reason to think he might have left.
You don't entirely know if he's in hiding or not.
Okay.
Fenrir offers a silent prayer to Uller for just general help us find him, but planning to do it on his own. He'll look to Nox and be like, so we have little information about where they've been or where they're going, or even if he's standing in front of us. How do you want to start?
Well, ultimately, he would wield a significant amount of power, so... to go too unnoticed in these areas. May be worth just settling down in a tavern and listening to the talk. don't want to draw attention to ourselves too much just yet.
I don't think we're doing a good job of that. And then he just like looks around. The apparent human, like very hooded up, like he has a lot to hide, and then the practically a demon walking around in normal clothes.
Do we still have our gems that disguise us? Well, I'm the only surviving member, but do I?
Technically, yes.
So I
do still have that.
could use that to make myself look human.
Mm-hmm.
Like
At least from the neck up, I think.
So that you are, just to refresh your memory, the kingdom of Ulv is mainly elves. There are a lot of humans and a couple other races, but the main population is elves.
Still might help to not look like yourself since they know you. Is that fair?
Thing is, I didn't get a hostile reception the last time I was here,
Nope.
so maybe he wouldn't worry.
The old lady told us that he wouldn't have gotten a heads up. So, right?
Yeah. Mind you, I can't help but think them say that by the time we arrived, given the time it would take to travel here, he would probably know we were coming.
Maybe, maybe not.
There's no way to know for sure, so
Exactly.
I go back to what I said about not drawing too much attention to ourselves.
I will note
that's
another
what I mean.
thing. As you have now left the uncharted land, just the feeling of being outside of the uncharted land, you have like this enormous relief, like off of your shoulders, pertaining to you using magic. There's no longer that stress of what could happen if I do something.
Yeah. No, trust me, that will be great.
Finger's taken on all that stress, just worrying about being around lots of regular people. Lots of deep breaths.
Well, we've been traveling for a while, so regardless of what we need to do, a tavern for food doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Agreed.
And the one outside of the city walls would be quite used to travelers, I would imagine.
So you're gonna go all the way through the city to get there, or?
You said there was... Oh, I
We're on
see.
the left
I thought
side.
we were coming from the north, my bad.
Nope, we're on the... You see the blue marker with the 3 people?
Yeah.
That's you all. There's a stable in front of you. You're kind of far... The marker's kind of far away because it'll merge with the horse.
I suppose we might as well, if we have, like, at least before day breaks, we might as well wander through the city, see if there's anything obvious. And then
Yeah, we could wander through
I
the
would
square
prefer
and
a
whatnot.
shadier section
So,
to sleep in. They tend to check you less.
as you go through the city, you notice a couple parts of the city. You notice a couple places of the city. One of which is you notice, where's that list? You notice Mage's Supply, which as you look in, you kind of see that there are, like, magical supplies. There are, oddly enough, farming tools in there. There are scrolls. There are, like, books that look to be kind of magical. As you go into the main square, you can see this is where most of the life of the city is happening. This square is bustling with people. There are people with carts of fruit. There are people with carts of other things all around this fountain in the center. There is a general store over that is the little yellow black and yellow shop looking icon. You can see more towards the north and to the path of the north, you can see a great building that looks to be like a town hall. You can see a blacksmith's down at the bottom, and then you can also see a tavern to next to the block with the sort of town hall.
Fenrir seems to wince at some loud noises in the background and be like, where should we check first?
Yeah, this square is pretty bustling at the moment. As you've arrived, it's getting towards noon, but it's not quite noon yet, so there's a lot of the morning rush. People are buying and selling things from the carts. There are people going in and out of the general store. There are people going in and out of the tavern. You see a lot of guards activity from sort of the southeast block in front of you, as you see a lot of guards coming in and out from there. On one of the buildings attached to this archway that they're going across, it says above it, citizens and guests. I forgot what the actual name is. Citizens and guests relations. Underneath the sign is sort of a large 2-door opening that's sort of open, and you can see people coming in and out. You can see people at desks kind of like writing down stuff and whatnot. It's a pretty bustling city.
Nice. I would guess from here, seeing that tavern on the corner, that would look like quite an appealing place.
You can notice that this tavern is actually one of the taller buildings within the square here. It is what it looks like from just counting the windows. It looks to be like 4 stories tall.
I remember the original guy having any particular smell or anything? Or
Elaborate on original guy.
Original bad guy.
the big one that they serve that we've met.
Oh, yes. You have more of a scent in terms of smells a little more like death and decay than anything.
I guess while his head twitches back and forth constantly, it seems like he's on if he were in a forest, he'd be on prowl, reacting quickly to any movement he hears. Except this is very disruptive when you're in a city and everything's moving. But he's going to be at least keeping somewhat of an eye out for a similar smell, like something that's even vaguely along the lines. But that's going to be probably the best that he helps. Otherwise, he might be following Nox a lot of the way.
Give me... I want to have you do a check on that, but I forgot what kind of check that would be. It's been a while since we've done this. Give me a perception check for just passively searching for the scent.
Do I get advantage for keen senses, or perhaps since I'm only looking for a scent and have nothing to, I don't even know what I'm looking for, it's
I believe
advantage and
I believe
disadvantage
you
cancel out?
I believe your keen senses, yes, your keen senses would, you're just simply smelling around, trying to pick up any whiff of this scent. So your keen senses would apply.
Okay, so advantage.
Yes.
Huh. He's overwhelmed, but he's trying his best.
Okay.
He'll generally like look towards the tavern, just kind of knowing at Knox, like, oh, this seems like a place to check, even though he's not gonna like it.
As you go into the tavern, you notice that this tavern is more. It's more luxurious than other taverns that you've been to. The way you would describe this is as if you went to a tavern in like a noble's district of like a major city. Like it is decked out and it looks clean, it looks spotless. People in here are behaving, they're normal people going to and from. It's almost as if you're in a restaurant. As you enter the building, there is sort of a hostess slash receptionist who greets you and says, "Oh, will you all be staying with us tonight?" I don't know why I went southern there.
I think all your tavern keepers seem to be southern.
I know. I don't know why, okay? It's not meant to make fun of anyone.
If you have the room to put us up, then yes.
Well, of course, we have several rooms open. How many beds are y'all looking for? We have a 2-bed minimum.
There's 2 of us, right?
Yes.
2, please.
Alright. How many nights will y'all be staying?
Undetermined as of yet.
Alright. Well, I'll put you down for just the night. And if you want to extend your stay, just come see me and we can extend it. That will be 3 silver pieces.
Nox had hand that over.
Alright, and she goes, "Thank you. Here is your key. You will be on the 3rd floor. It will be room number 308.
Thank you. He would hand the key over to Fenrir and just say, if it gets a bit much.
These places worry me. They're always more careful about their patrons.
Are y'all interested in any food and drink?"
Yes, we've been on the road for a while.
Alrighty, follow me. And she directs you to a table, sort of in the center-ish of the tavern. As you begin to look around, there is sort of this giant bar that goes across almost the length of one side of the building. Behind the bar are shelves and shelves of different liquors, different ales, all sorts of stuff. There are 2 doors that lead into the kitchen, and this is all situated underneath a staircase that leads up to the 3rd floor where the rooms start. As you kind of look up, you notice that there is sort of a second tier. There's like a balcony that goes to like halfway over the building itself, over the room. Um, and there is like a second floor for like seating for the tavern, whereas you guys are on like the main floor of seating where like the bar is and other stuff like that. There are a lot of tables. I would say this first floor is about maybe 2/3 full. It's pretty busy. There are people coming to and from, with different food and drinks and whatnot. After a little bit, a woman comes up and she goes, "Welcome to the Beautiful Coin. Can I get you guys anything?"
Could certainly do with some food and a hot drink of some kind, I think.
Alrighty. Well, we do have several different ales. Did you want a local ale or an ale that we have to or an imported?
I'm happy to try one of the local ones.
Alrighty. And one meal as well?
Federal just nod. Underneath his head.
So I got 2 meals. Would you like anything to drink, dear? And she's asking Fenrir.
Soak off just a little bit and then say, water.
Alrighty. Now, let me ask you, do you have water skin? Because we do refill water skins for a discounted price.
He'll just pull one out that seems homemade and give it over.
Alrighty. She kind of takes it and she goes, "I will fill this up for you, and I will get you what you want. I will be back." And she kind of goes off. Let me just keep
I don't
track
see
of
anyone
what,
particularly suspicious here. So to be
Well,
fair, I don't know what we're looking for.
I think it's going to be a waiting game. We'll just have to wait and see who comes in and what goes on.
We don't even know if they're still here. The problem is that we're working with, they could have servants posted in most places throughout the city that would warn him of any questioning. Or he could have very little to do with the city and he could be gone several towns over.
All the more reason to sit and listen.
What I'm suggesting is potentially asking questions. The only part I worry about is the wording and who to ask.
Yeah, Nox is opting for not asking questions and just observing people, as is his general way.
After a while, she comes back. She has the 2 meals. They are fresh. She warns you they're fresh out of the oven. She puts down your pint of the local ale, and then she hands you back your water skin that is full of water. And she goes, "Is there anything else for you guys?"
I think that'll be all for now, unless there's anything of note worth knowing in the area, any jobs going, or anything we should be aware of.
Not really. The school and the library usually post some jobs. As well as you can try with the guest relations. They might have some minor duties that will pay you some coin if you're looking for a bit of work.
Any
Thank
oddities worth seeing while we're here?
Oh, not really. I would stay out of the slums until, at least, until you're about to leave town.
Nox would raise an eyebrow at that.
I mean, is that a normal thing to say for in a rich area?
Yes.
I would imagine so.
So this isn't even like
Stay away from the
like, oh, it's
peasants.
dangerous for you. It's more like, oh yeah, remember this street? That's where the poor people live. You should avoid them. You might catch their poor. All right.
Alright, I will leave you to it. And you guys eat and drink and...
Is anything made of silver?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a very good.
I would say...
Am I burning?
Like you couldn't touch it.
I would say no. That
Okay,
the
cool.
utensils and the plate is more...
Nox, you're gonna
Right
have
with
the
this.
thought that
It's more of like an iron. It's more iron, not silver. It is polished, like they are polished. So they look almost like silver, so you almost mistake it as silver, but you kind of like test it and touch it, and you notice that it doesn't burn or anything.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna look funny as he literally pokes his fork before being willing to use it.
Even the plate is the same as you kind of poke the plate as well.
It's like, eh.
I would imagine most taverns would have pewter ones.
The only reason why I asked is this one was nice. I'm like, oh.
Yes.
Oh, the upper class have they got silver?
It's a very nice establishment. I wouldn't say it is as nice as like to have like full silver utensils for like everyone who can come in.
Yeah. That is pretty nice, but I thought I would ask because that would be funny.
No. As you sort of look around, again, towards the door, you actually notice like a placard, and it's kind of made to be noticeable. As you look at it, you look at it, and it's like rules, and it lists out like all of these rules: no gambling, no prostitution, no fighting, and no anything unseemly that can be considered unseemly by staff or patrons. And then underneath it says, if you are caught doing so, you will be removed. Depending on the severity of your crime, you can be banned for life.
Got it. Don't break the rules.
I guess while we're just casually like slow eating and watching people, is there any place you think would absolutely deal with such a strong person? Might be worth sneaking in to watch those areas as well.
Nox would probably send Catface out on a scouting mission.
Oh?
Though first you would look to see if there were any other animals of any kind around.
There are some. As you walked through the town, you saw that a couple people were like walking dogs, or there were like dogs out. There were a couple cats. In several places, some were dogs than cats, but there were definitely other like domesticated animals in the city.
Does the tavern look like it would tolerate it?
The tavern, the in the tavern itself, it looks to be no pets allowed, but you are unsure if the rooms are more pet friendly.
Alrighty.
You could
Nice.
In
ask.
that case.
Do you
But-
speak Sylvan?
Say that again?
Do you speak Sylvan?
I believe so.
I thought so too.
Yeah, because I'm a druid, so... Oh no, that's druidic. It's not quite the same. I think I speak Sylvan. I do.
Okay, I speak Sylvan too. So
Oh, secret
if,
language.
whenever we're talking just to each other, that we can just talk in Sylvan.
Yeah, because
Nice
I'd
and
say we'd
secretive.
have figured that out while we were traveling.
It's a tad suspicious, but I don't think any more so than any of the rest of our details.
We're outlanders at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the consideration of the city, yeah, you guys are more. You're more labeled as travelers than outlanders, but yeah.
Weirdos from the forest.
No one
Incorporate.
really. That's the thing, though. Pretty much only the farmers would know that you came from, like, the direction of the Uncharted Land. Other people just see you going through the town gate, and there's houses strawn around, like, the city gates. So there's no real way for them to be like, oh, you came from this direction when you could have come from, like, one of the houses.
Yeah.
It's not that small of a town. It's a pretty big city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so fairly easy to blend in.
Mm-hmm.
Even for us.
And it looks like, from the map, it looks like with having 3 ways in, it looks like it would see a lot of traffic.
So, the way that you guys came goes from the Uncharted Land. There's really nothing there except for, like, farmland. That's pretty much, like, the only thing that's out that direction.
Oh,
Going
okay, so
down
not-
to the south is the coast. So as you go down the south, you kind of go down sort of a hill, and then you're kind of at, like, a beachy coast. And
Yeah.
then going up the northeast, you're going through the main road again into the actual country itself.
So did we enter from a point that's like Uncharted Lands only on the border?
Yeah, pretty much.
AKA a little sus.
I could really see there being next to or actually no border patrol. People don't patrol rent like
there
in the middle
wasn't.
of deserts.
That's why you guys got through so easily, is because there really wasn't any type of border patrol.
Yeah, it's the one place they don't expect people to come from.
The
Exactly.
middle of the desert. That's not.
Excellent.
All right. So I guess we can spend the rest of the day just listening in on conversations and keeping an eye out, nose out for anything interesting, and then sleeping and starting in the morning with a full detailed search.
Yeah. Roll me a d20 as you're kind of listening. Both of you, like perception checks. As you're just listening to conversations around you.
Dirty 20.
Nice.
Let me double check. Does my keen senses do hearing or just smell?
I think it does both.
I think it's anything except sight.
Yeah.
Well, that would be hearing and smell.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it's heightened senses for perception other than what people usually use. So Hearing and smell?
Your enemy, racial. Here we go. Keen senses.
Nope, just smell.
Nope, just smell.
Fair enough.
To be fair,
mean-
it is a class thing, so it's
Yeah, like-
it's tied to more of the werewolf thing, so it makes sense that it would just be smell.
Yeah, because isn't there a werebat option?
Yeah.
So that's probably more hearing.
Alrighty. So Fenrir's more distracted by all the smells around you and all the different people going in and out and just loud noises altogether. Nox, you kind of zone in a little more on different people's conversations. Most of it is just friends meeting up for like lunch or like people having like sort of like a business meeting in this tavern, like different things going on all at once. You do hear one thing, you do hear a couple things of note. One of it is that the blacksmith is looking for an apprentice. The other thing is that the mayor is about to step down, and so there's going to be a new election for a new mayor. And last of all is that the slums are getting more dangerous as more people are reporting crimes of theft. And there was a murder a couple days ago of an individual in the slums.
I suppose, like, the talk about the murder in the slums, does that seem relatively nonchalant, as if, they're used to that kind of behavior there? Or does this seem unusual even for the slums?
You get the sense that they're less concerned about... because it's a dirty 20, I'll give this to you. They're less concerned about the slums' well-being and more concerned about if it comes in the walls.
Yeah, fair enough. So it's the fact that it's so close to their territory.
Exactly. To their
there was
social
there was a street
territory.
fight and someone died.
Makes sense. What was that?
Is
Sorry,
it
I
more
missed
like,
that.
oh, there was a street fight and someone died? Or is it like, man, we found this dead guy. We think it's probably a person because what else could possibly get here?
No, it was during the night. Someone was killed during
Someone
the
just-
night.
Outside or in like a home?
They don't say.
It's still like, okay.
Because this is just like gossip that Nox is hearing.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like, this feels like, these are the first questions I would ask, even if I had no interest in it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Where? How? Follow-up questions.
Well, I
They
would
don't have to do that.
imagine that if these are people who reside within the walls, and this is just people dying on the outside of the walls, it'd be very much leave the rabble to their problems as long as it doesn't come near us kind of attitude.
I can buy it, and they could have even, like, it's possible that just like, oh, they both know. They're like, hey, did you hear about this? And we're like, yeah, can you believe it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that murder and stuff. Is murder infrequent? Like, does it seem like normal conversation?
It seems more non-normal
Okay, so
from
something
how
about it
they're
is.
talking about it. Murder is not normal, but they aren't really surprised since it happened in the slums.
Okay.
But then again, these are civilians. These aren't. These are two civilians. They're not like guards talking about it. So you don't entirely know how accurate it is to assume that murder is infrequent within this city.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, well,
To each
that's
other. Fenrir will be like, well, like, I assume you mentioned it's like, it wouldn't be they wouldn't be doing a very good job laying low if they were going around killing people. But then again, maybe they need to for some reason.
Yeah, the fact that it happened last night, though. I mean, at least it happened before we arrived and not after.
Well, if it was them, then at least they're still in the city. But it really could just be a coincidence.
Don't suppose you fancy a little scouting mission? Try and gather some more information on the quiet?
I heavily prefer the dark alleyways to these crowded, gilded halls.
Yes, I agree with you there, but I'm wondering if we shouldn't see what floor our room is on. Because if it's only ground or first floor, it might be easier to pretend we've gone to our rooms and then go out
It's
the
on the
window.
3rd floor.
Typical.
Just to remind you, because she did mention it.
Oh, okay.
It was mentioned. Just gonna
Let me
reiterate. It is on the 3rd floor. You are 308.
Is that level with any roofs next door?
No, there is. It's more just wall.
I mean, that's not a problem for me. I don't know about Fenrir.
I'm actually checking if I have the climb speed. I think I could probably just work my way down anyways, but
Or you could go out the front door and Nox could go out the window. Might be less suspicious that way. I'd imagine they'd be discussing this in Sylvan.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, we're talking in nature of in language of the nymphs the whole time. Not suspicious at all.
Yep. Your waiter comes back and she goes, "Was everything to your liking?" Or she picks up empty plates and an empty mug.
Yes, it was lovely. Thank you. I
Very
quite
much.
enjoyed the
Are you all ready for your bill?
Yes, we'll settle up and might take another walk around before we settle down for the evening.
She hands you a slip and she goes, "You'll pay with the hostess over there." And she points to where you booked the room.
Alright, Nox would nod.
As you look at the slip of paper, you'll see 1 ale, in quotation marks, local, 5 copper pieces. A water skin refill, 2 copper pieces. And then 2 meals, 2 silver pieces. And with a total of 7 copper pieces and 2 silver pieces.
Plus 3 for the room.
Well, you've already paid that.
Yeah, I'm just removing it off my stuff in one go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, plus
so
the 3
5
for
silver,
the 1.
7 copper. Cool. Alright.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so he would go and settle up and then make a move.
As you enter, I assume you go into the room first, right?
Yeah, to drop off excess baggage.
Yes. So as you get into the room, this room looks immaculate. The beds look brand new. The mattresses are soft yet a little firm. You have a window. As you look out the window, you're kind of looking out to the courtyard, and you can see like all the people going around doing their own thing. You kind of have like a great view of the courtyard. At the foot of each of the beds is a chest. In front of the window itself is a barrel full of water with a small placard on it that says, "The water will be cleaned daily." And then as you open the door, to the left of the door when you first walk in, there is a desk with a chair against the wall. Oh, the window also has curtains that when you close, make the room near black. There's still a little
Right.
light that bleeds through, but it mainly blocks out most of the light.
Quality.
Yes. Very high quality here.
I'd be like very surprised at the quality. Maybe there is something to these gilded halls. Hearing a bit of ruckus, he seems to change his mind quickly, though.
Nox would part the curtains and peer out the window, look around a bit.
As you're looking around, most people are just going about their days. You do see one notable thing in that there are a bunch of guards kind of surrounding this one individual that seemed to be handcuffed, and they're kind of making a procession. People are parting ways for the guards as they're heading towards the mayor's house.
That looks interesting. Let's just go up over and cut and see if we can figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
As you go down, the crowd is kind of just going about their day. Are you just gonna approach a random person and ask?
I would probably be more likely to loiter and observe.
Alright. As you kind of look around at the procession, they go through, and you overhear the guard leading the charge says, "Prisoner for the trial. Alrighty, come on in." As another guard guarding the entrance to the mayor's house opens the door and lets the procession through.
Denver wants to make it up to where, like, the immediate trail they took and see if he can smell anything interesting.
Make a perception check for me. Alrighty. You do not smell what you are looking for. The scent that comes out of it is mostly sweat and other bodily odors, as well as different people's like natural scents that all smell a little different from each other, but nothing similar to Lord
Mostly
Petman.
elves and humans.
Yeah. The person on trial, however, is a wood elf.
Finner will look over. So it could still be worth our while, but I do not think the person they were dragging in was of any weird descent. I presume most of these followers, if not all of them, are demons.
Demons or empowered mortals, I would imagine. I would imagine also that most of them are modified, like myself.
Does Nox smell particularly fiendish or not even?
He does. He smells. His scent is more of a mix. It's more of a mix between like a fiend and also like a satyr. It's a weird combination of smells, but it's how he smells.
Yeah, he'll like give an audible sniff, which is funny coming from the face of a regular person, and kind of be like, they don't They don't seem like you either, but it could be worth figuring for
I
simply
can't
trying to
imagine
find
they
what's
would have.
happening in the city.
I would imagine if the people of a city such as this tried to arrest one of his henchmen, they would lay waste to the lot of them.
I honestly wonder if he could be the mayor, although I still worry that he has simply left.
Well, with the mayor retiring and a new election upcoming, there's nothing to say that he won't be the next mayor. Maybe worth
I'll be the
hanging
mayor if
around
the
to
town's
watch this
not going to
election.
last long.
Hmm? I missed that last thing.
Sorry, I got a call and then it cut me off. Why be the mayor if the town isn't going to last long?
Well, if you're the mayor, you can manipulate everyone to do whatever you want.
Catface kind of jumps on top of Nox's shoulders and goes, maybe the point isn't to destroy the town, though, or the city. Maybe it's to uncover something within the city.
What could they need? Such as, it's not a small place, but it's not a particularly historic one.
I do not know.
There could be a seal here.
There might be, but there might also be a portal to a seal. I mean, how else would they get to all of the seals if they didn't find portals to get them there? I wouldn't imagine that anyone has the power to rip through time and space and create their own rift to wherever they want.
Quite right.
I would assume only the gods know how to do that. I assume.
And the cat
I've
lady.
not heard from Uller of any more broken chains. So if he came here searching for a way to break one, then I doubt he has found it.
I doubt so too. If I remember
makes me
correctly, 3 chains still remain.
That makes me more comfortable with staying until we find something. Are you up to this legal garble enough to listen to a hearing?
Well, it's either that or we take the distraction to explore elsewhere, but maybe this is the murderer. Or the suspected murderer, at least. If he claims innocence, then we know that the other one's still out there.
I mean, I would claim innocence either way.
Depends if they did it out of malice. They might be proud of what they did.
I suppose. So we go in. Does it seem like we're allowed to just walk in?
As you approach, you're approaching the door to the mayor's house, right?
Yeah, in general, especially since I wanted to get a smell of the exact path
Yeah. So as you
prisoner
reach
took.
the door of the mayor's house, the guard standing in front of the door is like, what is your purpose here?
Curiosity.
Repeat that?
Curiosity.
Curiosity of what? He kind of looks a little puzzled, like, what?
We saw a man be taken in there. We were
Yes,
curious what
he
was
is going on trial. Are you here to watch?
Yes.
Very well. The courtroom which he will be in is going to be to your right. As soon as you enter, go down the hallway, turn right. You'll see a set of stairs. When you reach those, turn left, and the doors to the courtroom are right there. And he opens the door for you all. You're welcome. As you go through it, exactly what he says. This first floor looks to be more of a courtroom structure. There are what's it called? There are receptionists taking down people's information. There are people talking about different cases going around, different lawyers all around, judges going from their chamber into the courtroom, and all that kind of stuff. As you enter into the courtroom, it's more of like the standard US courtroom layout, with defendants on one side, prosecution on the other. Don't remember which side. Don't care. No. Judge in the center. There is a jury. However, it looks to be that they're just starting because everyone's kind of just getting into the motions. The judge isn't in the courtroom yet. So as you go in, do you sit more towards the front? Do you sit towards the back?
I would say probably. I'd sit a bit more towards the front, actually. I suppose Snox feels some degree of anonymity here.
Rear will follow in. He just seems generally worried about everyone around him.
As you go in, the courtroom begins, and it's kind of hard to follow a lot of it because the lawyers are mostly speaking, and they're mostly speaking in like lawyer speak, so it's like it's sort of like all like Gargan, foreign language kind of Gargan, de facto, Q bono. What's another one on this list? Ex ante.
This can't be second degree because second degree says de facto the motive. So
I don't know. I have Latin legal terms on a list here. I'm just picking out random ones.
okay, cool.
I just picked out random ones because I was like, oh, let me just do some random Latin for you. Overall, as you're listening to all this, you get the feeling that this is not for murder. And this is more for forgery.
Wow. A case with jury for forgery.
It was a pretty valuable forgery in that it was forged silver coins that have now made their way throughout circulation within the city itself.
Did they ever specify in any way I can understand what's fake about them?
Yeah. So, the design of the silver, the Kingdom of Ulv has specific stamped silver coins. Whilst they accept foreign coins, these were specifically Kingdom of Ulv forged coin, like silver pieces. In that, like, the border was a bit off, and then the face of the queen was flipped.
Silver? Or the correct amount of silver?
At this current time, the prosecution is saying about 40 pieces of silver is in circulation and that they know about. And they don't know how much more, since when they arrested him, he had about another 100 pieces with him that were also forged.
Okay. I guess we just don't know if they're just not made of silver. That feels like a very strong defense. It's the correct weight, which holds all the same value,
Mm-hmm.
which would justify a whole on darn court case. That's not just a.
Yes.
Uh, it seems like Finru is practically falling asleep to all of the jargon, and he'll whisper to Nox. As intriguing as this is, I'm not certain it's what we're looking for.
I believe you are right.
Oi, you two in the back. There is a court case going on. Be quiet.
Bloody hell, how good's his hearing?
Man, dude, whispering in the front of the thing. They must be very polite to have no one be doing that. Cool.
After a while, they
Finru,
call for recess and for a short break, and the judge goes back into our chambers, and you guys are able to leave if you wish to do so.
Yeah.
As you exit out, I'm sorry.
Watch us miss the big reveal.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. As you exit out of the mayor's house, you begin to notice that people are passing out flyers, and that there are signs beginning to be put up in front of businesses, in front of homes. As you look at the signs, they say, vote for this person for mayor, or vote for this person for mayor. Out of all of them, there seem to be 3 candidates that are officially running.
Leaving the place, Finru is gonna kind of suggest to Nox, let's get a tad lost, and I'll have a smell around.
Nox would nod knowingly and follow his lead.
Alright, so you guys wander around a bit, and you make your way all the way to, like, the bottom edge. And you see that there is a schoolhouse in front of you, right before you leave the walls of the city, of the inner city. As you kind of look at the schoolhouse, there are some kids playing, but most notably there is a board. On the board in front of the schoolhouse are several jobs that people are able to take, as well as a section of the board is set for wanted posters. One such wanted poster is more generic, and it says, for any werewolf activity, please visit the guard's headquarters, located next to the central square.
That's literally next door to where we're staying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. That seems pretty normal. Nothing particularly unhuman on the way, though, right?
No.
Cool.
Yeah.
I take it, Fenrir be able to sense another, werewolf?
Another werewolf?
By scent, yes. Through scent, he would be able to, yes.
Is it alright if most natural-born werewolves like Uller and just generally know that cultural stuff?
Yes, most
Natural-born,
do.
not-
However, some rebel against Uller.
And then there's also just the fact of, and that's not including infected at all,
Yeah.
which is probably a lot.
Mm-hmm. Natural borns do smell different than those turned.
All right.
You would kind of describe it as a more bloody scent.
Okay. And is there any reason for like, oh, they're asking for werewolves? That means that they must think some might be here, or is it just, oh, this is literally always on here?
No, it's a pretty generic and just basic ass frickin'
Yeah.
wanted poster type thing. Like super
Just a
generic,
small reminder.
super
Don't get
yeah.
Okay. I suppose we might as well look for who these new mayors might be. One of them could be our fella. Anything else you think is worth exploring, Nox?
I think Nox would probably try and track down the murder site.
We're both nighttime people, so I think we might just start doing a whole bunch of stuff in the middle of the night. And then,
Through
Yeah.
talking to people, you know that the murder happened inside one of the courtyards behind Lily's general store. Actually, in the courtyard behind Willie's general store. It's not connected.
Oh wow, so very, very close to
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a
Very
block
close
away
to
from
the
the
wall.
wall. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Nox would head out that way because there's a tavern out that way as well.
As you go through and you go, I don't want these to connect. As you get through there, there is like the section where the marker is right now is blocked off, with like police tape, kind of. It's more of like a string with like notes that say "Do not enter police business" or like guard business type stuff. You do see sort of more of like the forensics type thing where like there's a person drawn on the ground and there's like patches of like blood that have like soaked into the ground now. There are some other things set up more in like the arcane nature of like trying to like sense if there's any like spells that went off like in the area, that maybe like a spellcaster killed him, or if it was like a knife or something. Yeah. There are people still there are still detectives kind of like going about their job, like around the crime scene, kind of taking like a second look at it.
I suppose Nox would try to find a relatively conspicuous spot to observe from a distance initially.
I will note that the body is not present.
Yeah, I would have gathered. More curious if there's like a lot of blood spatter, or if it looked like it was a bloodless kill, or that kind of stuff.
No, there were blood patches on the ground. So there were some patches of blood on the ground. What's confusing them a bit is that there's not a ton of blood on the ground, and amongst the detectives there, there's talk of it possibly being maybe a vampire or maybe something that, or someone who drinks blood.
I wish to go search for their scent, but all those guards.
Well, we could always outwait them. Surely they won't stay here all night.
Mm-hmm.
Every moment we wait, the scent only grows fainter. But better than getting caught, especially for something that we only hope is a lead.
After a little bit of you guys discussing this outside of the area, a different kind of guard comes up. Fenrir, roll me a perception check really quickly. Or actually, what's your passive perception for smell?
19.
For smell?
Yeah.
Okay. You notice that this person in front of you is a werewolf. This guard that is going through. He is not a made werewolf. He is a born werewolf.
I guess Dox will just see Fenrir's eyes widen.
He's
Maybe
not
would-
paying any
a
mind of you. He
person.
kind of walks past you, and that's how you get the scent.
Yeah,
Nox
not
would
wide for a
notice.
normal person, but very wide for this person who's like constantly squinting.
Yeah, Nox had noticed the change in demeanor. Something bothering you.
A local.
One who just arrived.
I'm not certain, but my kind are scattered. There's a local.
You mean a local werewolf?
I try not to say it out loud.
And you say this is a guard?
Mm-hmm. He looks to
The
be
guard
of a
guard.
higher rank than, like, guards patrolling. He looks more like the detectives kind of investigating this murder.
Strange. The guard were calling for evidence against werewolves, and yet one of their own is one.
Oh, I forgot to mention
Oh.
something about the poster for the werewolves. I'm sorry. I forgot about this detail. At the bottom of that poster was the seal for the silver dagger. So it was not posted by the city, it was posted by the silver dagger.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. My, mistake. When you said that, I went, wait a minute, no, I forgot to mention something. My mistake.
In that case,
fault there.
Nox's first conclusion would be that the one who was killed was potentially a member of the Silver Dagger who was in this guy's territory.
Maybe.
And he would pitch that theory to Fenrir.
I've killed one or two of them. Hopefully more. We could ask.
Fenrir,
Happy
from
with-
your experience, though, even the neatest of your kills have not had this less of blood at the scene of your crime. Even
He'll
at,
mention it, but
the neatest kind of kills that you've had, where you've like, because
Basically, you're a messy eater.
yeah, regardless of how neat you try to keep it, there's always blood that gets places. The strange thing about this scene is that there's where there should be a ton of blood, there isn't.
Sprayed across the walls and everything.
So he'll mention that, but still suggests at the end we could ask.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you were going against the Silver Dagger, it would make sense to send someone who isn't vulnerable to them. I would listen. I would just stay and listen carefully to any discussions he has when he goes by. Like, as you can tell, Nox is generally an observer rather than a pursuer.
The Finner might actually be like, I'm gonna go see if I can have a conversation.
Right, I'll stay back here.
As you
He'll pace around until he gets to a point where the one guard is obviously the closest. Put down his hood and approach like he was going to this place for the first time. Kind of wave at the guard and like gesture here.
the
What
guard
happened?
notices you and approaches and goes, "Sorry, sir, do you have any information about this crime?"
No, we just arrived in town and we're looking for someone who could be dangerous. So
Oh?
this attracted our interest. I was curious what happened.
Well, we can't say entirely. What we do know is that there was a substantial amount of blood loss, but surprisingly almost no wounds on the body. There were some wounds, but not enough to... And he pulls you in a little closer. Not enough for you or I to kill him.
Hence the theory about
I think
drinking
for a
blood, I
moment,
guess.
anyone important? Or someone they thought they could get away with?
Just a bum. Emery White. Just a drunkard bum. No work, no family. Lived on the street.
Supernatural?
Nothing
yeah, it must be.
special about him.
Dinner will mostly just be in clear thought.
Now, might I ask what you're doing here? He kind of speaks to you more in a hushed tone so that other people around can't hear, just you and him.
Is there any language I could reasonably expect him to share other than common?
No.
Okay.
Not without transforming. When you transform, you can,
Speak wolf.
it's more of like a wolf speak because of the elongated snout. You can't really pronounce, like,
Okay.
normal, like, words well, but when you're human, in your human form, you can't really speak that. So it's mainly just common.
He'll. I guess I'll quickly check just to like give a chance for a roll or something. Do I? Does this seem like someone I would trust a lot? Like, oh yeah, I get this person. We're not going to be ratting on each other because
Like,
common
are
interest.
werewolves generally very loyal to each other?
You can gather that he won't. If he does rat on you, he will do it in a way that doesn't put him at risk.
But I don't get the feeling like, oh, this is one of those werewolves that hates werewolves or something.
No, he is a werewolf.
Yeah. So just generally like, okay, yeah, I trust him. He'll do it. We heard there is a powerful creature, demon or other monstrosity, possibly posing as a person who was in this city as of weeks ago.
No one stood out, and I wouldn't know. I'm new to the city myself. Only got here, about a week ago.
I kind of chuckle. It's like, doing well for yourself then.
I transferred to this city from a neighboring city. Seemed more peaceful, less daggers around. Are you in charge? Is it your job to find out what happened here too? Or I am part of the team, yes.
if we find anything or have any more questions, would you like us to approach?
That would be very kind. If you do have any information, go to the citizens and guest relations and seal it in an envelope addressed to me.
Your name?
Marcus Williams. It will get to me.
Marcus Williams. In an especially hushed voice, he'll kind of gesture to himself. Fenrir. May Euler's winter keep you safe. And he'll like kind of start heading back towards Nox, but maybe in a roundabout way.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna try and get a sniff while you're there.
Oh, yeah. I have the feeling that he couldn't get me. Actually, no, he would have a sniff, and he would know that, like, hey, demon or other monstrosity. It could literally be a person, in which case, like, I wouldn't be any better than him. But he says he didn't get anything specific, right?
Mm-mm. Nope, nothing specific.
Oh. Okay. So, through proxy, he checked. Nothing specific.
At the end of the day, if you were told by another werewolf, you'd trust their judgment.
At least enough to like, okay, I'm not gonna put both myself and them in danger by just blatantly breaking the law in front of guards. So this is better than nothing, and it's as risky as nothing. So come back to Nox and tell him what happened?
Curious. So, the wounds themselves weren't enough to kill, yet they're obviously dead. It would explain why they suspect a blood drinker was involved.
I am surprised that there was no scent, though. Or perhaps it was just a human that was performing magic.
Or they shielded themselves somehow.
I have to admit, I've been spoiled where I'm from. For all the dangers that there are, magic is not a common one.
Yes, well, back here I'm at my full power again. But magic does make some things difficult. It can shield tracking, it can allow you to levitate, therefore not leaving a scent behind. And if they were particularly vigilant, they could clean up after themselves rather well, but then
It
why
has
leave
been a
any
whole
blood
day.
at all?
That is strange, though. If they were so worried as to mask their scent, why leave a body?
Maybe they set someone up to take the fall, or just didn't think that it mattered. Or they just assumed it would set it up to look like a brawl of some sort. One can only
Failed in
guess.
that.
True, but they probably didn't count on a werewolf being on the investigation team. Either that, or it was a very clever kill by the Silver Daggers trying to lure him out.
The weird part is that they would almost have to expect there were a keen senses on the team. Why else hide a scent?
Valid point. Can't think of anything that would travel without leaving a trail of some kind.
Does that make sense, DM? We're like that we're confused that there was no scent but a body.
I never said there wasn't a scent. I said
not
there
just
was the
discernible scent.
absence of blood.
There was the absence of blood. I wish to have like kind of retroactively, or at least more specifically asked, did he sense any undead or other hybrid monstrosity has been on the scene? Because that is what we're looking for.
Your question is very specific, and I have to look up something.
Okay.
I have to look up something really quickly. I just need to see. You
We're
said.
basically looking for not a human.
So you
Not a
did
human
get
played
the
that-
scent of someone who was undead.
Oh, okay. He smelled undead.
Yes.
Okay.
It is not the same, though, as Lord Petdown.
Oh. And I would also say, like, we're talking. He gets to just be like, yeah, it smells like death. And it's like, oh, yeah, the other guy vaguely smells like death. We don't get apples to apples here, but it's on the similar trail.
Yeah.
So,
But you do
Now as we're
smell
talking
an
about
undead.
okay. So there was an undead, and we can be talking about that now. Yeah.
Well, some of my
I would
kin
highly.
can leave that kind of trail. Ones that feed differently to myself.
I have to imagine it must be either the person we're looking for or one of his servants. It would be far too much of a coincidence for this to happen in the city we're looking at, and it be completely unrelated.
Maybe we just have to wait for the next kill and react fast. Or
Do you
if
have
these
any
kills are happening
magic
in this,
that could track?
none that I have ready for the moment. There is a tavern very close to here. Perhaps we should stay there instead. We would be much closer to any occurrences should they happen during the night.
So our current place is closer to where the guards are, depending on how reactive you believe them to be.
True, but I doubt they would strike so close to the guardhouse. And ultimately, it would be more to our benefit to be close to track the assailant than
Perhaps we stay out all
against the
night,
guards.
sleep during the day.
Oh, you know how well that suits me.
I thrive under the moon.
My eyesight is much better in the night time.
All right. So, how about we keep watch over the areas through the night? I'll try to find a trail wherever we pass through, and we can rest during the day. It'll be a long first night after traveling, but as
Did you guys drop stuff
eh,
off at the beautiful coin?
Yeah.
So, you only paid for one night.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as long as we go back by dawn.
In the morning, yeah.
It's true. Okay. Bank's Tavern does not have an inn attached to it. The inn is across the way at Miss Maxie's Inn.
Okay.
The tavern is just drinks.
Do you think that
In that case,
the undead is still trying to run for office, or do you think that is simply not something he would worry about?
can't imagine he could run for office if there was a werewolf as captain of the guard.
I never said he was captain of the guard.
Yeah, no, he was. I would like to say, like, if his only.
Well, you said he was higher ranking.
He was a higher
ranking,
ranking than your general guardsmen, than your like base level guardsmen.
If his only evidence is he smells funky, I wouldn't come forward with that, even if it was proof.
At the minute, we have no reason to, like, at the minute we haven't done any research into the mayoral thing. They could be entirely unrelated events.
How about if we stay in this area through the night, react to any commotion, try to see if there's any trails somewhere. Go back, pay for another day in the room, or perhaps just grab our things and go down here, depending on what it looks like. And then, after sleeping through the morning, maybe daylight evening, we can find out what's happening with that mayor. Perhaps one of the options is a suspect.
Yeah, I think we should stay around here for a time.
Alright. Do you guys go to Miss Maxie's?
Yeah.
Alright, so as you go into Miss Maxie's, you notice that just around Miss Maxie's in general are tons of different prostitutes, all wooing and spooning about, "Oh, come with me. Oh, come with me, handsome." That kind of stuff. As you enter in, the receptionist goes, "2 beds or 1?
2, if you please.
10 copper."
Why do we need? We're not literally sleeping here. We're staying out all night.
Yeah, but Nox would go with the pretense of getting a room, especially for 10 copper. That's so cheap.
Fair enough. Okay.
Because, I mean, if we got one with a good vantage point, with windows on an upper floor or something, it would be...
Okay, I was thinking of literally wandering the streets like constantly, like not even sitting still.
Yeah, I mean, Nox is the type that would hop out of an upper window onto the roof of a neighboring building and wander around on the roofs.
Okay, cool.
So you get this room, and as luck has it, the room is pointing, it's kind of above the neighboring buildings, rooftops, and the window vantage point points right into the entrance of the alleyway. This alleyway only has one entrance, which is right next to Willie's General Store. So you guys have a clear vantage point from it. I will note, however, this room is disgusting. The windowsill is rotting. The water in the corner of the room looks like it hasn't been changed in about a month. The beds are falling apart. And the room is tiny at that.
Oh, where's prestidigitation when you need it? I think Nox's main priority would just be he would cast Destroy Water on the water in the barrel and then cast Create Water.
You do so.
Fresh water. Ah, it's good to have my magic back.
And
So in character this time.
as you all watch over this entrance through the night, that is where we're going to end it for tonight. Bit of a mystery, bit of a
Like walking around.
what's gonna happen type thing. Get rid of that. Yeah. We will see you all next time.
See ya.
Bye bye.